Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In today's penultimate agenda of the Digital Banking Symposium 2020, co-organized by Singapore Fintech Association and Banking and Financial Services Union, we are joined by Goldbell Financial Services for the evolution of financing, rise of ecosystems. Innovation in financing has accelerated in the recent years. Whether you're a business owner or a consumer, you can now enjoy increased flexibility and convenience in the way you do business and the way you spend. Discover how this group of fintech companies came together to form an ecosystem that boosts the productivity of business owners, empowers the end consumer with the option to buy now and pay later, integrates digital payments to SME financing, and powers supply chains with flexible financing options. We are joined today by Eddie Lee, co-founder of Pilon, Chun, Head of Strategic Partnerships, Polaris, Goldbell Financial Services, Hizam Ismail, CEO and co-founder of Rely, Jonathan Lim, CEO and co-founder of Oddle. And with that, I will hand over my time to the speakers.
Cool. You're on. You're on. Cool.
Okay, we're on, is it? Okay, Rachel can start.
Welcome to our panel discussion today on the evolution of financing, rise of ecosystems. I am Rachel, the moderator for this session. Before I begin, let me introduce our panelists for today. On my left is Chun. Chun is the head of strategic partnerships and projects at Goldbell Financial Services. And during his 3 years at GBFS, he has been instrumental in the development of new initiatives such as Polaris, which was launched as a quality loan origination channel to tap on the rise of digital transactions on B2B and B2C platforms. Polaris co-creates lending products and structures that are sustainable and scalable for both the borrowers as well as the lenders. Today, the Polaris network includes partners like Pilon, Rely, Oddle, SGEDs, Easy, and Lumia 32. And next to him, we have Eddie. Eddie has had 2 successful exits in the past 6 years, one of which is a P2P lending platform which was licensed by the MAS. This platform matched over $2 billion to businesses across Asia Pacific. Now he's the co-founder of Pilon, a supply chain financing platform, as well as Rye Capital, which is a licensed peer-to-peer lending platform in Cambodia. Together with Goldbell Financial Services, he aims to further the fintech lending business beyond Singapore and into the Southeast Asia region. And next up, we have Jonathan. Jonathan is the co-founder and CEO of Oddle, and he launched this food tech startup in 2014 after he struggled to find an affordable solution for his restaurant to fulfill online orders. Oddle is now the market leader for online food delivery with nearly 5,000 F&B restaurants on board its platform across Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, as well as Hong Kong. Jonathan's mission is to support the growth of F&B businesses in the region by helping them to move online and stay future-ready. And last but not least, we have Hizam. Hizam is the co-founder and CEO of Rely, a leading platform that enables retailers to offer shoppers the ability to split their purchases into interest-free payments at the point of sale. Rely is now the top-rated buy now, pay later service among the next generation of shoppers, supporting large enterprises and SME retailers such as Q10, ST Jewelry Group, as well as Secret Lab. So thank you, gentlemen, for taking time to be with us here today. And today we're talking on the topic of financing. We know that lending and financing has been a key vertical in the banking sector, and also in recent years, a lot of fintech companies are trying to enter into the industry. So can you share with us what role does your business play in today's financing role? Maybe Chun helps.
Yeah, I'll just start the ball rolling. Thank you for the introduction, Richard. So, with the rise of digital adoption, I think the borrowing needs and the banking needs of SME owners have also evolved over time. So, I think for the more savvy and new age SME owners, plain vanilla products or standard products or lending products are no longer serving their needs. So, what they crave for is an omni-channel approach where they aim to have their multiple needs or different needs answered in a single touch point. So, for example, one of the partners that we're working with is a procurement platform. As suppliers take on jobs or as supplier take on assignments that they bid for, they're already thinking about how am I going to finance my inventory? How am I going to run the manpower and stuff like that? These things are going on in the minds of the business owners. So, and as lenders, we ask ourselves, how do we then come in at this point early, making use and harnessing the data on the platforms to offer financing solutions to them? And I think that is a key of what we want to do in Polaris. In Polaris, we look for like-minded partners who wants to build an ecosystem or connected experience, as we say, and offer such solutions that is meaningful and long-term for SME growth.
Yeah, on the point where we see a lot of new innovation of fintech companies trying to come together, I think this has probably been started since 2015, where I think the most large kind of industry will belong to the peer-to-peer lending. I think when we were doing that initially in 2015, Goldbell and friends were watching this space very closely. And then it also exploded to the market. It actually got regulated. But of course, when they first started, the platform started this initially. I think the products were mostly unsecured. But at the same time, when it's unsecured, it also comes with high risk, so high risk capitals. So coming to today, where Pilon came to the scene, I think this is where we start to lend to suppliers in a closed loop ecosystem with data. So again, I just want to identify all the data and all the AI. So what it means is that we will start to lend to private banks across the entire chain. You know what they are doing. And then these lenders can lend a lot more confidently. So we'll probably be then thinking, isn't this as a supply chain financing then? But in the way that we will find it, we'll call it supply chain financing plus software instead of plus, or it as a payment. That's how we accumulate it, and we'll share a little bit more afterwards.
So for Oddle, so what we do is we bring restaurants online. So what we give them is an online shop, and with that comes the utilities in the form of payment gateways and logistics support. So I like to describe Oddle's business as an ERP entry for a restaurant, right? So we help them tax their online traffic and help them do business online. And so over the years, we've been thinking about how we can value add to the ecosystem. Our business model is such that we take a small percentage of the total sales, which means we are always invested, or rather almost vested in their growth. Right. So over the past 6-7 months, obviously online delivery, online ordering has become very common in the industry. So we started talking to our partners like Goldbell to talk about how we can help with financing the growth of these partners, or rather these restaurants. So usually when the restaurants look at growth, they look at two areas. One is to add physical outlets. The other one is to invest in marketing. So based on what we have on Oddle, we collect a lot of the transactional data. So that what that does is it gives the institution visibility on the past transactions record, and everything about lending is always about risk management. So what we are able to do then is give them this visibility so that they can lend the money at a shorter and a better rate.
Yeah, I think probably it's quite similar. A few key points about visibility. So for us, I think what we did was basically created an infrastructure for retailers to now offer financing to the consumers within that existing ecosystem. And the beauty of that, I think, creating that layer on top allows us to get visibility into who the customers are. And it's a more natural journey for the consumer as well, right? Instead of doing it off the system, it's more natural when they're buying something and when offered by now getting the solution at the point of sale itself. I think that's on the demand generation side. I think we saw the opportunity to basically embed financing into the existing ecosystem instead of creating an ecosystem, creating your own channel by itself. I think the beauty of that, what we did was really about standardization, really creating a new asset class of B2C receivables that can now be financed. So previously, if every merchant would do it on themselves, it's a very unstructured method where no banks or even FIs or partners like Oddle can actually come in. Right? By creating that layer, I think what we did was added visibility layer, but also that standardization is required when we want to do financing. I think that's where our journey started with Goldbell Financial Services. Really, for us, was looking at how do we find scalable capital to help us support large enterprise clients, because they are doing millions of transactions. So how do we get that scalable capital as and when we need to actually scale up that capital accordingly as well?
And I know that from your sharing that Pilon, Oddle, and Pilon actually partnering with Goldbell for your moving for like the new financing partner. So why did you all choose to work with Goldbell rather than your traditional financial institutions?
I think it's on a personal level or the business angle. So I think if it's a personal angle, then I think it's fine. It's fine. Despite businesses, they have to, always depends on, the pro and the con in terms and the condition. Going into a partnership often goes more than that. Most of the time, we look at the relationships. You look at how your partner will treat another person in terms of events of difficult situations. Most of the time, it's about how comfortable you will be with that person. If you're looking at this good friend, still good friends. So most of the time, it is on a friendship basis. This is how we started the whole thing. But I think that on the scientific side, which is on the logical side of things, is still that because I think in the supply chain financing setup ecosystem, the amount of cash flow that we need for the financing is huge. Yeah, so I think this is one area that we need the source of funds through Goldbell, and we have to consider the velocity of the deal flow that will be coming through the system. Yeah, so having people who are in the scene for 3 generations, who does nothing now except for lending. No AI, no payments, no wealth tech, initial tech, only about lending. I have access to experts who are in this specific thing. Right? And then having be able to speak to them directly would be to consider certain key issues and then make them very so very, very vital. So when I was building this whole financing system, how the targets came in for a lot of domain knowledge. I still consider areas that I probably didn't see. 3-year match, 4-year match, sometimes 5-year match, and things like that. That actually help me enhance the system even more. So when the field is the tech, I think it's a very natural combination with the partnership.
When the fin meets the tech. That's the punchline of today. I think for us, it's pretty much the same journey with GBFS. I think I met the team, Chun and Alex, maybe 2 years ago when they were first exploring revenue-based financing. At that point in time, we were on a subscription model, and obviously at that point in time, we were not very focused on financing restaurants. But I think what changed was during COVID, a lot of our restaurants started coming to us. Obviously, during this period, cash flow is king. So they started talking to us about where are the cheapest sources and cheapest and fastest way of getting money. Right? I think that's when we kickstarted the whole revenue-based financing with Goldbell funding at GBFS. Right? So a lot of it has got to do with the journey. And the other reason why we work with them is because obviously these people are nimble, right? So every time we are like testing a new product, we are developing as we go, right? So I think we have multiple runs on executing this. So I think one thing is they are nimble. We are able to align ourselves really quickly, and with that, I think we can bring value to the restaurants.
I think I share similar sentiments as well. I think one part for us, if you look at Chun and for us, we were looking for a stable partner, right? But the issue was the buy now pay later concept in Asia specifically was relatively right? Everybody, most kind of bankers or FIs we spoke to, they were trying to wrap their head around like, is this even a kind of proper product? But in the US, Europe, this was really quite large back then. Right? So for us, we're really getting a partner who actually understood the model in the first place. Right? So I think the experience that we had was I think GBFS took a different approach. While I think most other FIs we spoke to, they were trying to fit us in boxes. Right? So which are existing financing products can we fit in? Is it working capital? Is it venture debt? So that's kind of an issue, which didn't really meet our needs. I think what we needed was someone to actually co-create new kind of structures of financing. I think that's what GBFS understood, right? They went one level now, really understanding our model, and then work around it and see how can we implement risk control. which are required in such financing structures. They are quite different. Yeah. So I think that's kind of something that we got, and I think something that was scratched that we got within the market in the partner that we look at. Right. The first thing is the partner has to understand, not just keep doing the boxes. I think the next part, of course, is more from a personal level as well. In terms of, I think for us it's about what is that strategic debt financing as a business. Right? For our business, I think there's two parts to it. There's a platform that generates the demand, right? But there's the other critical function, which is the debt financing piece, which without that, we are not able to finance the demand that comes into our ecosystem. So I think for that, we're actually really looking for a strategic partner that can scale with us. I think that's what we got with throughout our conversations.
So I think all the companies have come together and form a very strategic ecosystem, right? So how did you all come about with like the idea of forming an ecosystem to support the financing needs?
So I'll answer this question and plus kind of round up the previous kind inputs from our partners. So when I first joined GBFS, right, one of the key missions that I had was to build a quality loan origination channel through the rising platforms like Oddle and Pilon, right? Because this is where the new age transactions are going through, the digital transactions are going through, and we wanted to leverage on that to originate things. Right? But the standard approach out there that many FIs take, granted that it is fast, but these transactional-based referral schemes or referral programs usually are very short-lived because they were not really exactly value creating. Right? There was a lot of unhappiness in the different stakeholders of different partners. For example, lenders would be seen to be cherry-picking deals. So the referral comes 10 deals, I probably only take the top 20%, because the top 20% are bankable and gives you high yield, low risk, right? So the lenders will take the top 20%, leaving the other 80% in limbo. So as a platform, the kind of success rates don't really match the kind of customer experience that you want to push. Right? And for the borrowers, there is a very broken experience also, because when you look at low-level integrations like this, the borrowers are coming offline from the platforms and then going to another loan application or loan channel where there's friction, asking for data all over again, where revenue was already there on the platform, right? So these kind of things led to a lot of unhappiness and wasn't very long. So we quickly realized that there's a gap in the market, and that was why we conceptualized Polaris. So what Polaris does is examples like this, where we take a longer view or strategic approach with our partners, where we think mindshare is very important. We would never understand how F&B is run. I mean, there are some standard figures or standard ratios that F&B will understand, right? And digital consumer financing. So we choose to take this kind of longer-term approach with our partners, build meaningful embedded solutions that is sustainable over the long time. So I think this is the backstory why we created this ecosystem.
And how do you see the companies actually complementing each other within the ecosystem? Like, for example, partnering with each other. How do you see them working together to strengthen the ecosystem?
Maybe that's all that
Sure. I can answer this. I think for Oddle, we are very clear, right? We are facilitating trade. Right now, we're capturing consumers' data. We're bringing the consumers closer to the restaurant, right? And if you put yourself in the shoes of the restaurant, when they want to grow it, there are two ways, right? In general, for restaurants to take any form of financing, it will be revenue-based or it will be invoice financing, right? So the way we see ourselves growing together with Polaris and GBFS is really how we can create a niche such that when they go through us, they will be hassle-free. They know that they will be able to get loans through us because of whatever credit ratings and scores that they achieve over the months with us, right? So a large part of what we want to achieve as a business is to have our merchants or other restaurants stick with us forever, right? Because in my business, lifetime value of our restaurant is key, right? So when I think about value creation, I think about what I can bring to the table, right? So that's why it's important for us to look for subject matter experts like Chun team, right? So that we bring an extra edge to the table.
Yeah, I think mainly for mine, I'll take much more broader. For us, I think when we came in, I think we saw ourselves as creating new assets, right, and finance. I think that's where Chun came from, right? There is that gap. I think traditionally what we've seen with FIs is seeing that with what can we lend to consumers or to SMEs. But I think the opportunity here is really looking at from the other way around. I think look at existing ecosystem, right? A lot of them, I think there's this concept of embed finance. Right? How can you embed financing in existing ecosystem? I think that's what we did. We see embedded financing within a retailer's ecosystem. But I think there's a lot of other opportunities as well. We look from the marketplaces, there have been cases where they embed working capital financing as well, or revenue-based financing. So I think as a whole, the industry where we are right now is really looking at there are a lot of opportunities, not just for fintech companies or banks, but even traditional companies, as long as they have some sort of digital process that provides additional visibility. I think there's a lot of opportunities there for new age kind of lenders like Polaris to actually embed themselves within this ecosystem. Because sometimes as a treasury company, I might not think that I want to be a financer, right? But if there's a solution that enables me to, like, I think what Oddle is doing, really value adding into additional services that helps the ecosystem. I think that's where I think the industry is.
Yeah, I think the cliche kind of statement around is that if you want to move fast, you move alone, and if you want to move far, then you go together. I think coming into this whole ecosystem here, together is a great thing because first of all, you can see what will faster than both, and then it's also because you also curated for you the join us. Yeah, and then if I were to start this platform, then again, there's a series of steps that I need to do. But in this case, when I'm part of this ecosystem, and the back I would have because each bit has a support, and then on the left and the right, I have credits here. Will then be able to, in a way, we will also cross from of the other merchants here into the supply chain ecosystem. Is where, for example, I realize that will be, very breakdown the payments of the individual customers into a few parts. But then the merchant side could potentially assist them. Likewise for Oddle, the way that actually clients could then be incorporated into the supply chain management system. So if you look at it behind us and at the side, it's like suddenly we are trusted and synergy.
Definitely. And would you say that offering all these new financing services, right, are you competing with or are you complementing the banks?
Honestly, I think it's neither. I mean, the reason why we set out building an ecosystem per se is that we believe that the outcome or the value created by the individual parts will be larger than the sum of all the parts together, right? So, big banks, they have their advantages, right? They have their different products, they have strong infrastructure like banking, CASA and stuff like that. And of course, they have access to low cost of funds. So definitely, if we take on the same collaborative approach, there's definitely space for banks to come in. Right? So what we've been doing with some of these partners, more mature partners like Rely, right? The journey goes I think 2-3 years already. What we're doing with them is that we will take the first risk, like I think adding on to what Rely said earlier, or Hizam said earlier. We come up with models, risk frameworks, we come up with the lending structure, such that we even do it through a JV partnership, right? So then we will put in our money first, right? And as we lend, we start to build the data, the profiles, the risk, default rates and stuff like that, things that the bank understand. We start to build this portfolio, and when this debt book becomes a certain size, then we also can invite the banks to come in and then we can trench out some of these loans to them. And for us, we think that we brought them to a certain level that previously they may be unbanked or they may be underserved by the banks, right? With this portfolio that we built together, the banks may fit into the bank's criteria for products. So I think there is space for everybody to play. I mean, as long as I think the key in this whole ecosystem is that it has to be strategic. We have to have like-minded partners, which thinks, tries to build this ecosystem for longer term or longer value. Yeah, I think that's key.
Well, I think in the long run, money is just money, right? Where there's money to be made, everyone will come in. I think what GBFS is trying to do right now is it's admirable, right? Obviously, we've seen a white space that we can try to move in and try to create value for the ecosystem. I think in the long run, where we start creating enough value, I'm very sure there will be more partners that will be keen to share this card with us.
Yeah, so just to add on, with Pilon was supply chain financing plus, right? Earlier I talked about this 80-20 profile of the different suppliers and buyers on a certain ecosystem, on a certain platform. Every lender comes with a certain risk profile, right? So I won't be able to come in and tell any, hey, out of all the invoices there, I'm going to take off, right? There will be certain invoices belongs to that belongs to bigger suppliers or bigger buyers, and which means there is space for different risk profiles of lenders, which include the banks. So again, I don't think we are neither complimenting or we are taking away the bank's business. As long as we are having a collaborative and strategic approach, I think we can all work together.
We see to see
So it's more important to create value.
That's right.
There is already so-called services out there. I mean, traditionally there are already services like this. It's just that when we are coming to do all this new tech innovation, we came in with a digital method.
How do you intend to get more partners involved in the ecosystem, and why should people be involved?
So I think one should go to your point is kind of like advertising for you and so on. No, so exactly, right? I mean, the benefits of well-run ecosystems are quite well documented. I mean, just to use an analogy in phones, right? You are more likely to stick to your mobile device and phones, not just for the product, but of the services and the stack applications around it, right? So probably you can subscribe to music, video streaming, or even the cloud services, and that keeps you going. And this is the customer stickiness that we're talking about. So in that sense, again, I keep talking about like-minded and strategy, right? So if you are a business owner that thinks that you want to add an additional service or financing vertical to your value proposition, or for that matter, not just lending solutions, it could be some of the different solutions that my existing partners can provide. Then yes, Polaris is a place to look for, right? Because we are building something that we want to provide a connected experience for customers. Because as we start to build this platform or this ecosystem, a lot of our customers will be repeated, right? Who's to say that a restaurant will not do a supply chain financing? Who's to say that? I mean, we were laughing at this, right? You could buy maybe a food platter or bak chor mee. So that's a joke, but I mean, we are not taking up this kind of opportunities or ideas. Yeah. So
just to add on to Chun point, I think for them it's already very clear what you can bring to the table on the back end, right? So currently Oddle is exploring corporate services, right? And with corporate services, it's usually credit terms, and these are risks that restaurants might not be able to sum up. But because we know that there's a big brother over here that's willing to take on some risk for the ecosystem. So in cases like that, it becomes very easy for us because we understand what they want to achieve and they know what they can bring to the table. So and to answer your question, because we all know what we want to bring to the table, right? It becomes very easy for us to pick on products for each other.
So, any last words before we close? Good. So thank you, speakers, for the very insightful discussion today, and thank you to our audience for joining us today. If you would like to unlock more liquidity throughout your business supply chain, reach out to Pilon. For F&B businesses looking for ways to move online, check out Oddle. And if you'd like to enhance your customer's experience with more payment alternatives, Rely is your answer. Lastly, if you're looking for ways to expand your business capabilities but unlimited due to financial restrictions, Polaris is a great accelerator for businesses. They're constantly on the lookout for SMEs to build and grow their ecosystem, so reach out to them anytime. And there you have it, the next gen financing ecosystem for you. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our esteemed speakers for a truly riveting discussion on the evolution of financing. Up next is today's final session. We will have the opportunity to learn how to achieve a secure, contactless customer experience using your mobile. This presentation is brought to us by Gold sponsor Air Rome and will begin shortly at 5:15 p.m. Do remember to click the next session button located at the bottom of this page.